My name is Donavon Dungan, and this is my testimony. My testimony starts at a very young age. I grew up without a father. My biological father was arrested when I was 3 months old for selling drugs and taking drugs. Going on without a father for first 10 years of my life really been a struggle for me. My mom's raising 3 kids by herself, so I know that definitely can be easy, but she's always been the one that always makes sure we have food on the table, clothes on our back, roof over our head, just to make sure that we have a good life, even when she's struggling herself. Just seeing my mom struggle, it was hard to see. I knew in my mind, like, I have to be there for her when we don't have anyone ourselves. Just comforting her as much as I can, just helping her as much as I can. It's all we can do as a family. And then going on middle school, I got angry a lot, got into a few fights, got suspended. I knew I wasn't the one who started the fight, but in my mind, I'm like, if I let them throw the first punch, I won't get in trouble. But I knew in my mind that wasn't the way that it should have went down. I should have just got up, talked to him, or walked away. And going into high school, I was a kid who struggled to comprehend things, to understand things that were being taught to me. I would be the one to just forget some within seconds of being what I was taught. And that really struggled throughout my whole school life. Just barely graduating in 21. Like just getting enough credits to walk the stage. But I knew in my mind it's better to barely squeak by than not do it at all. In May 2011, my mom got married, and then I knew instantly, me and my dad, instant connection. We're always doing stuff together. First thing he wanted to do was just bond with me, my sister, my brother, RJ. He just took us movies, sporting events, was watching TV on the couch together. It's something we both love to do. All that changed when, going back 3-4 years ago, something happened where my dad had to leave the house for a few months. And in my mind, I'm like, why is this happening to me again? Why am I about to go on without a father again? And then thoughts started rushing through my mind. It's like, is it my fault? Is this something I did? And then about a few months left after he left, he came back. And then everything seemed normal for the next few months to a year, next year or so. And then the same situation happened again where he had to leave the house again. And then in my mind, I'm like, what is happening with my family? Like, why am I being put through this again? And then like one morning or one afternoon, I get a call from my mom while I was at work saying my dad has been arrested and charged. And at that point, all the emotions started flowing in. I was angry. I was sad. I was just sat there for a minute just to ain't real testimony if you ain't crying. Whew. sat there for a minute, just trying to comprehend what was just told to me. And growing up with around alcohol and drugs, my biggest fear at a young age was that I was going to grow up to be like that. Like, I grew up with it. That's how I'm going to be. And there was a point of my life where every time I was mad or upset, I always had alcohol just to reach away. And then, out of nowhere, I get a phone call from my brother. Just a random phone call, because at that point, all we really do is text. He asked me if I wanted to go to church with him. In my mind, I was like, I don't want to go to church. Like, I don't need church. Like, I don't want to spend my Sunday mornings just sitting there and just listening to just people talk about God and Jesus. And while that thought was going in my head, what came out of my mouth was me saying yes. And at that point, I didn't understand why I said yes. Like, I'm thinking this thing, but I said another thing. I know that at this point, it was God talking, that saying that you need to come to this church. You need to just see what it's like. And then instantly, I fell in love with the church. Walked in, everyone was very welcoming. And that was something that I definitely needed. And then first day there, met Mark. Not gonna lie, scared me a bit. The gang in my face and all that, but at that point, I didn't know that he would be the biggest influencer in my life. Through all my struggles, he was the one I reached out to. He was the one I knew I could depend on. Then a few months after I started going to SCC, I felt a calling in my mind that I needed to do more. So one Wednesday I went to check out the youth, see what they were about. Fell in love with that too. Just, again, very welcoming. I met a bunch of people that had instant connections with. Helped me through thick and thin. I knew through all my struggles what were going on at that point led me to that moment. And now I'm a youth leader, and just having just middle school kids just coming to me, asking for advice, asking for help. Yeah, I knew, I found a purpose in my life that I needed to be here for these kids. And then again, felt a calling that I needed to do more. So I started volunteering at the church, just running stream, doing camera. I even babysitted for a youth group. Yes. What turned into what seemed like the lowest part of my life reached me to an all-time high that I never saw coming. Now, at this point, been going on the SEC for 3 years. Wouldn't change a thing. Like, they're more than just a church to me. They're like my family. Going on a couple months ago, I started going to a men's group called Band of Brothers. At first, when Wave started week 1, I tried to think of the biggest excuse I could make just not to go. Like, I was about to just be like, I'm sick, or like, I don't feel good. But felt a calling in my head. It's like, I need to go to this. I need to just not push it away just to see what it's about, and then make an opinion after it. So I went, walking in, just a bunch of men, grown men. It's very welcoming. Everyone's saying they were glad I was there. And then after hearing that first speaker, it was crazy. It's like, and turning into, I don't want to go, to I can't wait till next week. Well, going through the Band of Brothers wave, I went in with one perspective and then just came out with a whole new perspective on what brotherhood truly means. Because for me, in the beginning, brotherhood was just the friends you've been friends for a long time. But I came out knowing that brotherhood is holding someone accountable, saying one thing, they're holding you accountable to do that thing. It's definitely been life-changing for me, and I'm definitely grateful for all the men who was there to support me through those 10 weeks, my platoon. I shared some stuff I haven't shared with anyone. And just God was in that place. God was in me to be like, you need to speak this out. You're never going to find healing until you do. Now, going on with my church life, again, felt like I needed to do more. I just sat there praying to God, just asking him, like, what do I need to do next? And then this thought that's been going on for my mind for a few months, just, you need to get baptized. And I've been holding off on that for a while, but it never left my mind. And then going on, I decided that it was time for me to get baptized, just ready to move on to the next step in my faith, just lead me further and further into Christ, and just knowing that it doesn't matter what I did in my past, but it's what I'm going to do with this opportunity that I'm doing with getting baptized.
Donavon, we love you, man. I'm proud of you too. Ready? Donavon, by your profession of faith in Jesus Christ and what he's done in your life, he died on the cross for you. He buried in a tomb, rose on the third day. He calls people like you home. I baptize you now in the name of the Father, His Son Jesus, and the Holy Spirit.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love, there's a kind of love.
To the people who are thinking about getting baptized, it's a big and bold decision to make, but I promise you it's definitely going to be you're gonna look back at this moment and be like, I did that. I'm following Christ. I'm going further and further in my love of Jesus, that I've made a bold decision to be baptized in front of a bunch of people.
'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows where to find you. God only knows how to break through. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.